Hi, this video is going to address a very serious topic. It is going to be speaking about abuse because men can be abused. Too often this is being overshadowed and it's being manipulated by women who plays the feminine role, the woman role, the crying role, when in fact they are absolute brute beasts behind closed doors. This video may not touch on everybody's situation, everyone's narrative, but it will be close enough where you can make your own decision on your own in these relationships. It is time to stop assuming that every woman is a victim, because every woman is not. While some women, they do go through some things and they are actual victims of abuse, there are many who are abusers and they use their tears and feminine wiles to get over. And it's time to shed a light on that. This video is to encourage men to know that you are not alone and there are many like you. I will encourage you not only to take the spiritual counsel, but to also go and seek professional counseling on what needs to be done. I would not say get counseling in a church, but seek professional counseling and continue to get the healing and the restoration that you need to be strengthened moving forward. And maybe some tough decisions you may have to make down the line. It's time for you to realize that you are not at fault and it's nothing to be ashamed of, and you should not remain silent because you're a man and you should be tough. You should be tough. But in fact, you are a gentleman, you are a good man, and that's the reason why you have not harmed her and you have been protecting her and shielding her, because sometimes that's what it is. You love her so much, you want to protect her, you want to shield her. But it's time to get out of the mindset of being abused, and you are abused and you are a victim of abuse. You are the victim of an abuser, and a part of that is wanting to protect those who abuse you. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video coming up, and God bless. There's a scripture in the Bible that says this kind comes out by prayer and fasting. This kind comes out by prayer and fasting. There is a certain kind of woman that a man will meet that is going to be your living nightmare if you do not understand who you're dealing with. A woman who's deceptive, a woman who can cry to disarm you, a woman who can use her sex to keep you trapped and at the same time withhold her sex from you, to punish you and to make you do what she wants you to do. On the surface, she is going to look as if she is a nice person to the community, to the outside. She may be an upstanding citizen. She may be doing a lot of things, be a part of a lot of causes, because it is important that she maintain that outward facade, how she needs to look to people in her community, at her job, in the neighborhood, at her local church, at whatever she may be doing. On the outside, she is going to seem stellar, but behind closed doors, this woman will completely morph and become something different. You would not have known this woman that this is how she was at the start, because she would have been charming you. She would have been everything you would have expected and wanted in a woman. You may have had some glimpses of some things that she did when you were single, but you may have ignored it. She may have been able to talk herself out of it, even cry. You may have come to a point, you may have even reached a point, some of you, where you were going to break off that relationship. You were going to break off that engagement. Perhaps your mom, your dad, your family was showing you some things about her, your friends, but she was able to turn the narrative. You may look back right now and realize the friendships that you ended because of something she told you they were against her. You're beginning to realize that wasn't true, because now she is today turning the narrative and telling people things about you and making you out to be the bad guy, to who used to be you guys friends collectively. You are now beginning to realize that the things that she did to alienate you from your friends and your family is the very things that she's doing right now to maybe alienate you from your children, alienate you from those in your church, alienate you from those who are in your circles who you introduced her to. But she has the ability to be manipulating. So you may have seen these things early on in your relationship, or at some point, something she may have done to someone, the way she dealt with a person. You saw the way that she can really double down in wrongdoing. She can really be wicked. She can really be evil. She can be spiteful. But maybe you thought it was cute at the time. Maybe you ignored that. Maybe she explained herself away. And as I said, something may have come up. You were going to end the relationship. She explained, she cried. She put some good sex on you. And talked you out of what you knew you probably should have listened to or stuck to. And so now you're married to her and you don't know what to do. She's ensured that she has some children for you, or at least she ensured that you were able, if she has no children for you, she made sure that you divulge a lot of personal things. She knows a lot of things. She has intertwined herself in your life and in your business, and in many ways that it may feel that it will be cheaper to keep her. It's easier to stay, but she continues to play certain games with you and you don't know how to deal with her. 1 minute she's hot, 1 minute she's cold, 1 minute she's sweet, 1 minute she's sour. You're never good enough. She's always critical of you. She's telling you everything that's wrong with you. She's comparing you to other people. She triangulates you between you and people that perhaps a co-worker. She does things to be flirtatious, to get you upset. She does things to make you, she will do things for you where you feel like you have to be proving yourself. She thrives off of your jealousy. She thrives off of your insecurities. She may even take she will expose your nakedness to another man. And in that meaning, your vulnerabilities, she's sitting there talking to someone else. She may even have male friends that they're more than male friends in the sense of she will sit and talk with these men on the phone with you present. She's not going to get off the phone. She's not going to consider you. She's going to tell them your business. She's going to consider them before you. They are more important than you. And she's going to make you feel as if you are insecure. You're dealing with this kind. You're dealing with a woman who may have had some rejection and some hurt and some pain. And ironically, you may have heard this. It's something she has told you, some things that's happened in her childhood, the horrible things that she went through. And that was how you sympathize with her. And this is like her trump card. Every minute you got to remember that she had a bad childhood and this is what happened to her. And this is her badge. This is what she uses. This is like she's weaponized her perhaps she did have a traumatic childhood, but she's weaponized it. And it's like she uses it to get what she wants. You need to remember that when she's disrespecting you, according to her. You need to remember that when you're getting ready to walk away. She will use your children against you. She will threaten you with them. She may even threaten her own life to keep you there. What do you do with this kind? Some of you, she says she's a Christian. She is busy in the church doing all kinds of things. She is the most active, but at home, she goes back to her toxicity. Make you feel like you never saw what happened. She'll make you feel like you never heard the things that she said. Like, I didn't say that, but she said it to you. I didn't do that, but she did do it to she did do those very things. You're to the point that you're losing your mind. And the constant games that are being played, you're dealing with an extremely wicked woman. A woman who may have filed charges against you. A woman who may abuse you and call the police on you. A woman who lies so easily, keeps you entangled, keeps you confused. You're dealing with a demon. Whatever has happened to that woman, whatever has happened to her, she didn't heal properly. She took all that hurt, that pain, whatever it may be. And some of them, they've never had any of that. Some of those things they tell you, it's just a lies. Some of them, they have had everything they've ever wanted, but they have become selfish and entitled and wicked. And it's going to be hard for men. The only thing that will be in your mind, some of you, is to really hurt her. You find yourself punching walls, being angry, drinking, just getting away from her. And even in you trying to get away from her, she will come and antagonize you. When she doesn't want to talk to you, she's going to shut down and not speak to you. But when you want to talk, No, when you want your time to yourself and you need a break and you need some space, she's not going to stop. She'll come after you, come after you, come after you, come after you. She won't let you go to the point that you feel like you're going to scream. You may punch the wall, you may shout, you may yell, and she may use that to call the police and say, oh, I'm in fear of my life. Or she brings that out of you to aggravate you and then taunt you. This is a dangerous, dangerous woman. And you're going to have to make some decisions. Some serious decisions. I am not going to tell you what to do because 9 times out of 10 you know what to do, but you're afraid. Be mindful. I'm not telling you go in there and bury her and kill her and hurt her. But if you're to the point that you feel like you're going to lose your mind, you're going to, because some of these women, they want you to hurt yourself. They want you to kill yourself. They want you to do certain things to destroy yourself. So they can either collect on the insurance or play the victim or really go on and be with a guy that she has in the wings if it's applicable. I will not sit here as a woman and tell you, a man, what you need to do, because 9 times out of 10, you know what to do, but there's fear. You have lost your sense of self. You have lost your sense of who you are. You have lost your decision-making power. You don't know what that is anymore because she's taken that away from you. You're afraid for your children. You're afraid that you will never get to see them again. But I dare say to you, follow what you need to do. What you fear may not be such a fear when you step out and do what you need to do. When you know you're making decisions, not because you're being vindictive, not because you're being evil, not because you're abandoning anyone, because some of you think of maybe who abandoned you when you were younger and you think that's what you're going to be. But no, not realizing, no, you're about to open the prison doors, because sometimes even when you're present, you're absent. This kind comes out by prayer and fasting. And I will tell you, those of you who you are men of God, you are believers in God, and you find yourself living with the devil reincarnated, you don't know who to tell because she's got everybody believing that you're a terrible man. You don't know who to go to because she's have your head so wrapped up. When you getting ready to make a decision, she will give you that rare sex that's going to keep you stuck, sucking your thumb and confused all over again. Curl up in a ball. And then she kick you out the bed again because she don't want you sweating on her and you breathing. And she can't stand that about you, because when the woman is getting to that point, she can't stand to hear you breathe. She can't stand to hear you eat. Everything about you. She's not in love with you. She is tolerating you. And sometimes these kinds of women, they're going to hold on to you because you're a good man. They're going to hold on to you because they can control you. They know that there's not going to be too many men that's going to put up with that. But you have to think of your sanity and your mind and make the right decisions. Some of these women, they have a great rapport in society and in the workplace. They look good. They may be on television. They may be in office. They may be in the White House. They may be a doctor. You see, people will always think, oh, it's only, poor people and people who don't have anything that does this. But no, there are a lot of these wicked type of women that they are successful. You see them on television smiling. You see them on the red carpet. They're up there opening worship and praise. They're opening up worship and praise and singing and praying, and their husband is in church with his whole back scratched up. You can't see it under his suit, though. His arm is scratched up. He has wounds on him from her. It's time for people to open their eyes and realize that men can be abused too. There are wicked, evil women out in this world. There are young girls going around thinking they can hit and punch and scratch your sons. And they need to remember that they're a girl while they're acting like a wild banshee. This kind comes out by prayer and fasting. This situation you need to bring before the Lord and pray for real. Men of God, those of you who know God, you know how to fast. Set a time. Fast before the Lord. Bring your cause before God in what you need to do. Find your strength again. Find your mind again. You have the ability to make decisions. The biggest thing some of these women have is keeping you entangled and keeping you afraid, keeping you running behind her. Oh, please, please, please. But what happened when you stop doing that? What happened when no matter what she says, you're like, whatever? What happens when she does that? You don't even say whatever. You don't respond anymore. What happens when she threatens you with your children? You're not going to see them anymore. Well, she may love that whole fight in the courts and all this stuff. But what happens when you're absolutely silent? What happens with this woman? Some of you, you're not even married to this woman. You have a child with them and they want to play the game. You're not going to see your child and you'll never see him again. What happens when you don't respond? I have a video that talks about women that plays games with men. The reason why some men will cut you and the child off. Then you're hollering, calling him a bad father. No, he is keeping himself. Because when you play with a man's child, these women, you are in a great danger. That man could cave your whole forehead in, kill you. He's playing games. So sometimes because they're getting to that point, they will leave you alone. It's not that they don't love their child. They are just taking a position of, I will have to just wait until my child is older. Now you come running behind him, accusing him of being a bad father. No, you are a deadbeat mother. You're a bad mom. Because he's not trying to hurt the child. I understand there's a difference between someone who is irresponsible and is a threat. But when he is not, but you just want to have control over him, you end up getting left by yourself. And I always tell men, you need to learn you have rights. Go to the courts. Do the things that you need to do. Don't just stop at them. You went to talk to someone and they told you to come back. You should have that pursuit. Do the things that you need to do. And sometimes you're just going to have to be hands off. You do what you need to do responsibly. But sometimes your peace, ladies, y'all better stop it. That man get on that plane and move to a small town in Sicily. You never see him again. Then you're going to be bitter all by yourself. There is a level of manipulation that women can have that most men, you will not win. The women have the power. Women have a power of just being women. A woman start crying, everybody's just going to believe her. Except for women like myself. She says you hit her, that's just what it's going to be. And you found that when you thought you had married a beautiful, wonderful woman, you were caught in her net. And you're trying to figure out how to get out because she's put you in a deep freezer like an old beat up trout. No power, no nothing, triangulating you. But what's important is regardless of what's going on around you, you need to know who you are, not her narrative. I will not encourage anyone to be violent. I'll not encourage anyone to beat up or to kill or to harm anyone, but I am encouraging you to get on your knees and go before the Lord and pray because you're dealing with a demon. You're dealing with a woman who has an unclean spirit. Y'all better believe it. Y'all better know it. As long as you're going to think, oh, she's just on an eternal period. No, that's not what it is. This woman is evil. And the evil came into her life at some point, whether because she always had whatever she wanted and she just became entitled, or she went through some traumatic things in her childhood and she did not heal. She has a lot of things, and she looks for people who she can manipulate, and she lies, and she is vengeful, and she is evil, and she is vindictive. And beneath the surface of that cool exterior, that woman is always planning the next thing. There is no peace. When you go before the Lord, at the name of Jesus, every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess. He will begin to give you the strength that you need. He will begin to give you the wisdom, the understanding that you need. He's going to take off that ashes and all that ash and all the briars that you've been in, the entanglements of her flattery and her words, as she was leading you down to the path of hell, as the Bible talks about the strange woman. He will begin to place that dominion and authority back into you. Not that you're there to knock her over the head, but you're going to be able to make clear decisions, where the poisoning words and the like an aspen, a viper, those things that comes out of her, it will no longer affect you. You'll be able to see clearly what you need to do. You'll be able to make decisions, whether it's to stay or to go, or to make clear lines, or to create clean lines and boundaries. He'll have you do that. But I want you to know, a lot of times this kind is unrelenting, and they won't stop. And so before you end up doing something you regret, you're going to have to make some decisions. Because this type of woman is provoking. She's going to bring out the worst side of you, to the point you literally think about either choking her, strangling her, which is the same thing, punching her, hitting her, because she is provoking. And then on top of it, it is so hard to be mistreated by her this way and see her play the victim, see her play the sweet girl, see her crying. And you're painted black because you're the man, you're the big brute beast, you must have done it. Of course, there are men out there who are abusive. There are women who have a right to cry out because their husbands are actually doing things that's wrong. But the thing about these types of women who are vindictive, they really do an injustice to women who are truly being abused, because they're playing a game. They are a disgrace and a shame to women in what they do, and they're very, very evil. Because deception is all they've known. Truth is really like a poison to them. To tell the truth is absolutely foreign to them. To listen to another opinion and to reconsider themselves, this is foreign, because inside they are dark, dark, dark. The Bible says he was talking about the Pharisees and the scribes, and he says on the outside you look like whitewashed tombs, meaning you look clean on the outside, but inside there are dead men's bones. And some of you're realizing you done married Skeletor. You have married a wicked woman, a vindictive woman, a cunning woman, and you feel powerless. But this kind comes out by prayer and fasting. Seeking God, taking an hour out of one day out of the week, set it for maybe 30 days, and you pray and you go to God, and you pour out your heart, and you admit your wrongdoings, perhaps the things that you have said or you've done. And you ask the Lord to lead you and to guide you and to set you free, to open up your heart, to guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life. That's in the book of Proverbs. Guard your heart with all diligence, because that's what she's been playing on. It also says hope deferred makes the heart sick in the book of Proverbs. Because why? You're hoping she'll change, but she's not. And you're feeling so down. You may have put on weight. You're not yourself anymore. You are so apprehensive when she walks in the house. You're jumping around. You're trying to make sure everything looks just right. You don't even feel good. You don't even feel comfortable going in your own kitchen to get food. You're so uncomfortable. She always makes you feel like you're doing something wrong, but you're not wrong. She's wrong. There may be mistakes you have made. Maybe some of you you were unfaithful. You cheated. You cheated back when MC Hammer was out, and she's holding it against you. And I want you to understand that when you do this thing, yes, it is a horrible thing to cheat on somebody. The trust, it takes a long time to build back the trust. And that's one thing you have to understand. It takes time. You can't cheat on someone, say that you're sorry, and then you expect that everything is still going to be the same. You still want to just go out, do whatever, not be accountable to her. You don't want her to ask you any questions. That's a selfish thing to do. Okay? It takes time to build back the trust. But at the same time, there's another group where you are genuinely trying to do the things that you should do. You are letting her know where you are. You are following everything to the letter to make it right. You are not giving her any reasons to doubt you. And she's held this against you because she caught you in junior high kissing the girl behind the bleachers, and you're still being punished for that. She still talks about that. She's still talking about when you didn't defend her at the wedding in 85. She's still talking about this thing that you did back in 2000, and you have done everything in your power to show her you are sorry. You have remorse, but she wants to punish you. And I want you to understand, you must be set free. Who God has cleansed, let no man call unclean. When you have begged her for forgiveness, you've done everything in your power to make things right. When you have gone before God and you have asked him to forgive you, and you have been doing all you can do to bring the trust back into your marriage, you have not been cheating on her repeatedly, you have not been going behind her back repeatedly, and she wants to hold you hostage over that or anything else, you do not deserve that. Who God has cleansed, let no man call unclean. When God forgives you, no one has the right to go back to that. And you don't deserve to be still being punished in 2022 for something you did 5 years ago. A mistake that you made a certain way you used to be when you were 18 and 19 and 20, and she still holds that on. It's not about that. She wants to punish you. And sometimes that woman just does not like or love you anymore. And so they just want to punish you and hurt you. She is what you would call this kind. She's miserable. She's unhappy. And her joy comes from punishing other people. No, she's not going to go buy a hamster from the pet store to bring home to torture it. You're the hamster. She's got you on the wheel running. And this is not to incite separation or violence in any home, but that you wake up. You wake up. You pray. You seek the Lord. You go before God. And you make those tough decisions. It's not in going to another woman. It's not in going into the arms of another woman. It's not in seeking counsel with another woman. It's not going to be in drugs and alcohol to dull her out while that may feel good for a while. It's not about working late and never being home. Some of you work late. You could go home early, but you stay at work late. So she is sleeping and you get up before she goes. But how long would you live this life? Going into the prison late and leaving early? If you have children, they are being affected, whether you realize it or not. It's time for you to be in your rightful position in doing what is right. Prayerfully, you are able to sit down together and talk to her. Perhaps when she sees you taking the steps to do whatever it is that you feel that you need to do, perhaps that will bring change. But some of you, you know the kind of woman you are dealing with. She's wicked. She's vindictive. She's lied. You've got charges. You have things on your record just because she's lied to you. You should not still be in a relationship where a woman is hitting you and abusing you. And you feel like there's nothing you can do. There's a lot that you can do. Outside of being violent to her. You don't want to do that. But you don't have to take that. And the covers are being pulled back on you ladies. You think you can hide behind that femininity and that sweet voice when you are an abuser. You are mentally abusive to your husband or these men. You are physically abusive. You are verbally abusive. You are emotionally abusive. Withholding your sex to punish him. Withholding sex, using it so that you can, using it as a bargaining chip for the things that you want, punishing him, not speaking to him for weeks, months at a time, and you're still going to church and praising God and daring to take communion. You are a devil. And if you say that you're going to church and you're doing that, you are not of God. Your daddy is Satan. I'm telling you that. And I don't want to hear it. I don't know your story. I know you're wicked. I'm not talking about women who your circumstances are different. Because sometimes you have a husband who is, he's been abusive and you've had to take certain steps. I'm not talking about you all. Sometimes you would have to withhold your intimacy because you have a husband who's out there running the streets and he's brought you home things before and you need to be safe. I get that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you who are wicked and vindictive. You want to punish. You know exactly who you are. You're a liar. You're a deceiver, and you're going to be exposed. And even if you never get exposed, when God takes you off this planet, you will meet those demons and dark fallen angels that you've allowed to use you for your wickedness. You will pay for every lie you've told on your husband. You will pay for every bruise that you put on him. You pay for every moment you've caused fear and anxiety in that house. You cause pain for every lie that you have perpetrated, the lies that you have created through omission, through exaggeration. You will pay for it. I pray that men who are going through this will be set free. You're not crazy. You're not alone. And yes, men can be abused. And it's time to bring exposure to these types of women. The word of God says in Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And that's what you have to realize. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. You have the right to enjoy your life. You have the right to be at peace. You have the right to be able to enjoy your family, your children, without all the tension that comes with it. You're not her slave. You're not her dog. These women will behave like Potiphar's wife, make up a lie. These women will be like Jezebel, get you to be vulnerable and use, not Jezebel, Delilah, make you vulnerable, have you divulge all your deepest, darkest things and use it against you. This woman will be like Herodias in the Bible, who will use others to hurt you and to harm you. Going back to Delilah, if you're not careful, she used other men to hurt you and harm you, because once she cut Samson's hair, she called the Philistines to attack him. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. You can do all things through the natural abilities that the Lord has placed in you. Fear is a thing that will keep a lot of you entangled. And you look up, you're old and gray and helpless. But the reason why you're so fearful is because she stripped you of your identity. And you don't know who you are. It's like she's taken everything from you and just put it somewhere. You don't remember who you are. It's time for you to remember who you are and know who you're meant to be. Because if you were nobody, she would not have married you to begin with. She's too selfish to do that. If you were nobody, she wouldn't have started dating you to begin with. If you were nobody, she would not have been so quick to try to hatch some children for you, to trap you. And because she feels badly about herself, she does not think much of herself. She has to put that all on you. All her frustrations, you'll be blamed for everything. You find yourself constantly apologizing. Wake up. Wake up. All right, guys. Thanks for listening.